Welcome. I would like to welcome you to another episode of the Unpopular Podcast. This is the man, the myth, the legend, Jalen Hunter. And if you do me a favor, please subscribe to whoever you're listening. Please subscribe to whoever you're watching. It definitely means a lot to me. And for this episode, I got some guests. Actually, these next two episodes, I have some guests. But this episode, I have some guests. I have my man, Mitch. Mitch, we go back all the way from college, man. He's a good friend of mine. He's also the owner of Blck Heavn hats. I have the link in the description down low. I brought him on, and I brought my man Mike. For people that have, been with the podcast regularly, you know my man Mike Curry. He is the host of the Curry and the Pot podcast. Again, I will link both Mitch's description or Mitch's stuff and Mike's stuff in the podcast. I'll link that all in the description. I wanted to come on and talk about the future. Talk about the future of the NBA. Talk about certain stars. Who would you pick in the next 5 years? I had matchups, and I wanted them to come on and speak about it. And, of course, our conversation went multiple different places, but it was definitely good having them on. Again, my man Mitch, my man Mike, both of them are incredible guys, and both of them know a lot about basketball and weirdly are Lakers fans. Well, not weirdly, but are Lakers fans. We talk about the Lakers as well. But here's the conversation that between me, my man's Mitch, and my man's Mike. Enjoy. So one thing that can't be denied now is that the league is the future of the league is bright. We have a lot of young stars, a lot of young people a lot of people that once, the older stars, the LeBrons, the KDs, the Currys, once they go and retire, that it's going to be in good hands. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to kind of do a who would you take within 5 years, and the first person I guess, two to choose from is Jason Tatum and Devin Booker. Now, first, I'll just speak for me. At first, this was a no-brainer, Devin Booker. Like, it's Devin Booker. It's Devin Booker. But then I'm like, wait a second. We got to think about both sides of the ball here. And while I've been hella critical about Jason Tatum throughout the years, or a few years that he's been here, about his defense, he has played a lot better defense these last 2 years. So I would say that I'm picking Devin Booker I'm picking Jason Tatum over Devin Booker. What say you, Mike?
Me? Yeah. I was when I first saw it, I wasn't like saying I didn't think like it was a no-brainer for either one. But I mean, I'm partially biased, but I still think like I would still go Jason Tatum. When we look at Devin Booker's career, and I know we're talking about the future, but I mean, what did he really do, and what did he really accomplish before Chris Paul? I mean, I know he had a 70-point game, couple of All-Star appearances or whatever, but what did he, as far as postseason aspirations, he didn't really achieve anything. You look at Jason Tatum; he's been in the postseason pretty much since he's been in the league, and he's been improving ever since. And like I said, it is a partial bias. I mean, I'm a Duke fan, he did go to Duke, but I always thought, when he came into the league, like before he came into the league, he would be a star. And, we're seeing that. And he's, like I said, he's elevated his game each and every year. So, I'll say Jason Tatum.
What about you, Mitch?
Man, so like these are one of the ones where I was like, man, this is tough. So at first I was thinking like, y'all, like Tatum, he has the whole package, right? Like he got so much bigger since his rookie year. Like he's like, when he first came in the league, he was like 200 flat. Now he's like 230. Like Tatum's a beast. But I'm gonna say this, so I'm gonna take Book. The reason why I'm gonna take Book is because look who he's playing with, Chris Paul. Like Chris Paul has that dog. Like he's just like, so I feel like Book is gonna, and he's a Kobe. I know Tatum's a Kobe guy too, but Book is a Kobe guy. So like all that DNA and pedigree, like that's gonna, I feel like, and he's a better passer. Like Tatum's not a good passer. So Book, that's gonna translate like over his career. So that's why I gotta take Book.
Do you think that now, of course, we don't know, now, but in hindsight or looking back or looking forward, do you think that Jason Tatum playing alongside someone like Jaylen Brown that kind of has the same skill set as him as far as the score first mentality, do you think that that could hurt him in the long run as far as his, I'm not going to say development, because as we clearly see he's developed, but taking that next step, not saying that Boston can't win, because I mean, they're incredible defensively right now, but do you think that for his evolution of growth, not playing alongside maybe a Chris Paul or the pass first point, do you think that that is going to, I guess, kind of hinder Jason Tatum moving forward? I guess Mitch.
Man, I think it does, man. I think when I see Boston, and they've been playing like really good over the past couple of weeks, like they look like a completely different team. Mm-hmm. But it's like sometimes they get in these modes where it's like it's just your turn, my turn basketball. It's like they're both good, but it's just like for the team, it just doesn't work. But like for Book, I feel like Book can play. Book was playing point before Chris Paul got there, so like. That's why I gotta say Book, man. But yeah, I think it does. I think that will hurt, Tatum and Jaylen Brown too. I think they gotta trade Jaylen Brown eventually.
I was on that boat too, and I want to hear your opinion, Mike. I was on that train too, as they should trade. I get the success that they're having now, the success that they're having with Jason Tatum and Devin Booker playing. Of course, they're like 12-1 their last 13 games, but it's like, to me, there's a cap there. There's a ceiling. And having someone like Chris Paul alongside Devin Booker, that completely elevates that ceiling. While we have history of what Devin Booker was or is without Chris Paul, we kind of have a history of what Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum is without each other, because of course with the injuries and everything. And Jason Tatum plays completely different without Jaylen Brown.
He does.
So I'll ask you, Mike, do you think that, seeing as how successful they are, at least right now, are you on the side that they should split them up to maximize at least one of their potentials, I guess you can say?
All right, so first I wanted to answer the original question where you were talking about his playing with Jaylen Brown, like going to hinder his development. Mm-hmm. So we've seen Jason Tatum develop, but he's been playing on a team with too many cooks in the kitchen. There was Kyrie and Gordon Hayward at one point, Terry Rozier too, trying to blossom. Then they had Kemba Walker, which leads me to talk about now. I don't think you necessarily need to split them up. I've been we talked about this multiple times. They need a facilitating point guard, somebody that doesn't need to score. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that could set them up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think they're both super talented, but the fact that there isn't a true floor general, like we know Marcus Smart's not a point guard. You know what I'm saying? Like we know that. Like they never played with a true point guard. So I think that's the issue more than anything. They never really played with a floor general, somebody that's not looking to score, not looking to shoot, somebody that doesn't mind getting you involved. And I've always thought that was the problem, and that's why they haven't necessarily taken the next step. So I've always thought that was the issue.
Okay, and of course we're going to move on to the next matchup. But lastly, I do want to hear you guys' opinion. Do you think that we're going to, at least for these two, Jason Tatum and Devin Booker, do you think that we're going to, how do I put this into words? The people that they play with, is that going to ultimately affect their legacy moving forward? Because you just talked about Mitch, you talked about we saw Devin Booker before Chris Paul. And Mike, you just talked about Jason Tatum is played with multiple different cooks in the kitchen. Do you think that ultimately, because basketball is a team sport, but you still have those killers. Do you think that Jason Tatum and Devin Booker's legacy ultimately kind of hinges on who they play with?
I would say so, because let's say Boston never addresses this issue, of getting a floor general to play with these guys, or because I mean, I'm pretty sure we all think the same thing. The Celtics have this ceiling. Like, yeah, they're doing nice right now, but there's a ceiling on the Celtics.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No matter how wide open the NBA is right now, as far as who can win the championship this year, they have a ceiling. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's tough to say right now because we're finally seeing Chris Paul and Devin Booker play together. They got a taste of the NBA Finals, and I think when Chris Paul is healthy again, they have the opportunity to possibly go back. So it's definitely a tough question to say. But right now, I would say they'll be judged on, that's what their legacy would be on.
Something I didn't think about, and while we talking about this is like the East. The East is so much better than the West. And you look at Giannis isn't going anywhere. Embiid, if he stays healthy, he's not going anywhere. There's so many good teams in the East where I don't think Tatum's gonna get as close as he has in the past.
Right, I agree with that.
But for Book has the coach, he has the system, he has Chris Paul has at least another couple years, So I think that's just, and the West is going to be a little weaker, man, especially with Bron. I don't know what the Lakers are doing, so or Kawhi or whoever, but I think the West is going to be a lot easier to get through.
I agree with that.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. I agree. Let's move to the next jump. Now, on paper, I threw this by somebody and they looked at me dumbfounded, but I think that they're looking at this next matchup as the current eyes. The next matchup I have is Ja Morant or Trae Young. Now, ain't no way there's no one that can deny that Ja Morant's going crazy right now. Had a 52-point game the other day. Bounced out the gym. But Trae Young last year was going crazy too. I do think that there's been I don't know what the hell's going on with Atlanta, but there's just a lot of maybe a lot of cooks in the kitchen, like you said, Mike. But I want to hear from you, Mike, first. Who would you choose over in the next 5 years, of course, over Ja Morant or Trae Young?
Yeah, this is a tough one. You know what I'm saying? It's like you were saying, I'm pretty sure you're going to allude to recency bias. That's pretty much what you said.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do recency bias, but I looked at the list and a theme that I'm going to talk about is leadership. I think Ja Morant is a better leader than Trae Young. I don't think he's necessarily obviously, Trae Young has better intangibles. He's a better shooter. He's a better passer. But when you look at the Grizzlies, you're like Ja Morant's their leader. You know what I'm saying? And I think Trae Young, he's more of a passive guy. You know what I'm saying? And I know Trae Young was going crazy last year, but
it's because he light skinned. That's why, man. It's because he light skinned.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not that. But remember last year, I know the Hawks. They made the playoffs and they had a good run. But look at last year before they fired their coach Lloyd Pierce. What were they doing? They were terrible. They were absolutely awful. You know what I'm saying? And I look at Memphis and I just look at when you look at their roster, their roster is not amazing. You know what I'm saying? They got some solid players, Steven Adams, Jaren Jackson, Desmond Bane's been cool this year. But I really think a lot is the leadership of Ja Morant. Now it's tough to say. I'm gonna choose him. I know I didn't say I'm gonna pick him, but I'm gonna choose him, but I'm choosing him because I think he'll develop his shot. I think he'll develop a shot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know obviously Trae Young's a way better shooter. Ja Morant probably never get as good as a shooter as Trae Young, but just based off of leadership, and that's going to be a theme that I'm going to lean on going forward. I got to go with Ja Morant.
I like it. What about you, Mitch?
So first of all, shout out to Ja, man. He from the crib, South Carolina, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ja, man. So this is the thing. That worries me about Ja, because the way he's playing right now, he's playing at an MVP level, right?
Mm-hmm.
He plays so much over the rim. That's the thing that concerns me, over the next 5 years. We've seen in our history, people that, were over the rim. You look at Derrick Rose, you look at Penny Hardaway, Steve Francis, these are players where it was really good at one point, and then, they had a hard time adjusting, how they play their game. Now, I do think Ja Morant has a capability of changing, but that's why I got to go with Trae. I got to go with Trae because I know the way he plays below the rim, that's gonna carry for 10 years. I know I got that. Now, Ja might last longer, but I know consistently I'm gonna have Trey.
Let me tell you why I struggled with this more than, well, not more than all of them, but why I struggle with this. I agree everything that you said, Mitch, about John Morant. They've been killing Colin Cowherd because he compared John Morant to the Derrick Roses, to the Russell Westbrooks, to the John Walls.
Yeah.
And of course, people are killing them because, of course, recent. But that is a fear of mine. That is a fear of mine because, I mean, at this right now, I think he's shooting 34% from the 3-point line. And that's, of course, better than his last 2 years. But what happens when your athleticism goes? Or what happens when, which I don't wish that upon anybody, but injuries start piling up? As we saw, hell, John Wall can't get on a team right now. Now, a lot of that is, of course, with Houston, but John Wall can get on a team. Hell, we see what's going on with Russell Westbrook right now because he never developed a shot. Now, if he does develop a shot, then that is John Morant, then, of course, it should be a no-brainer. But here's why it was a lot harder for me for Trae Young. And Mike, I think you can agree. If Trae Young's not scoring, he don't do nothing. Trae Young don't really pass the ball that much, which I think, of course, he's still young, and that's going to come with development. But Trae Young is the ultimate. His offense dictates his entire game. So, but I will say this. I'm leaning towards what you said about Mike, that leadership. I look at Memphis kind of like how I looked at, or how I was looking at Cincinnati this year, Cincinnati Bengals. They don't know what they don't know. I mean, you have a young team. You have Jaren Jackson Jr. You have Desmond Baines going crazy. Dylan Brooks ain't even playing. And this team is fighting for the second spot in the West. And like you said earlier, Mitch, that the East is a lot better than the West. And Steph is 33, 34 right now. Bron's 37, 38. It's like things are going to change. And I am leaning more Ja due to the leadership. So I'm kind of with you, Mike. Yes, Trae Young has better offensive intangibles. But when we talk about the totality of the game and, of course, the leadership and maybe defense, while Ja's not the best defender, he gives you more energy on the defense than Trae does. And they're both, kind of small. But I'm gonna go with Ja. I'm gonna go with Ja just because of leadership. However, I do have the fears that you have, Mitch, as far as what happens if his shot doesn't develop. And
I got the same fear too. So
and for Trae, it's like, Trae Young doesn't seem like, at least right now, it doesn't seem like he has to develop something else. Like, does he have to develop maybe a facilitating mindset? Does he have to develop? Well, he ain't gonna be no defender. We just know that that's just the way the league's going. That's not happening. So it's like, I don't know if Trae, especially with the people that he's playing with, I don't know if Trae is going to be able to grow more than Ja could. So I'm going to go with Ja. The next one was probably my hardest one. And that is Luca or Giannis. I'm gonna start with you, Mitch. How are you looking at it?
Luca, Giannis, man. I gotta go with Giannis, man. Like, Giannis, in my opinion, is the best player in the league. Like, I know he's not, like, people gonna say KD because KD got the snatch and the dribble and the three and all that. But when you talk about dominance, like, he's the modern day Shaq. Like, you talk about the last few years, defense player of the year, 2 MVPs, and he's in his prime. Like, he has like 10 years left. And what's crazy is, like, he's going to be able to play center when he gets older. Like, he's going to be able to. So with Luca, man, Luca is like he's like today's stat machine. Like, he's really good. Don't get me wrong. Luca is really, really good. But when you talk about just dominance, man, like Giannis, man, I got to go with Giannis.
What about you, Mike?
I got to go back to my theme of leadership, and like we've seen Luca butt heads with former head coach Rick Carlisle. I've seen Luca bump heads with Porzingis, even though Porzingis has definitely fallen from grace. But one play I wanted to mention particularly happened a couple of years ago. This is when Seth Curry was on the Mavericks, and he had shot a three, and Luca had looked at him like, "What are you doing?" And he didn't get back on defense. I think this was in the playoffs against the Clippers, and the Clippers scored on the other end.
I remember that too.
It's not leadership. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. That's not leadership. You know what I'm saying? I look at Giannis. He's gotten better. And Luca's gotten better every year too. But you look at Giannis, like just you know the story. Look at his grind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Look at his grind. Look at he's a humble superstar. Just look at the finals. He was absolutely dominant, and they went down 2-0 in that finals. He was absolutely dominant. That's true leadership to me. And he doesn't have, the greatest coach in Mike Budenholzer and stuff like that. And, even the supporting cast isn't amazing. Like we all eye roll at Chris Middleton. I mean, come on, let's just face it. We all do that. You know what I'm saying? But, like I said, I hate to just go back to one thing, but leadership, that really matters over, the totality of a career. And, I think Luca's great. I think he's amazing. Stat machine, he's a beast. You know what I'm saying? But leadership, MVP, defensive player of the year as well. I gotta rock with Giannis. It's no shade towards Luca, but yeah, I'm rolling with Giannis for sure.
And I agree with both of you guys. I think Luca benefits and thrives. Luca kind of reminds me, and I know it's kind of weird to think, but Luca kind of reminds me of Russell Westbrook. I think that he benefits playing as the solo star. I think that he benefits playing as he's the one that it's all on his shoulders. And what we've seen a Giannis, as has been stated, Giannis looks completely different from his rookie year. And every year Giannis has had to improve on something, and he has improved on it. And I think playing alongside of Chris Middleton has helped Giannis because, I mean, hell, Chris Middleton is their go-to person as far as like getting a shot at the end of the game. Playing alongside Jrue Holiday has helped him. Playing alongside George Hill, even though he can't make free throws, playing alongside George Hill has helped him. I think that Luca, at least so far. Now, of course, I'm not saying that Seth Curry is a superstar. I'm not saying that Porzingis is a superstar, but playing by himself. Hell, we even saw the other night with the Lakers. When they played the Lakers, Luca, like his body. I was talking about LeBron's body language. Luca body language. If he feels like he gets fouled and don't call it, oh my gosh. No, I think that's, of course, a foreign thing as well. But to me, Giannis has what he's done in this league so far, and his improvement already has, to me, the only question that we have of Giannis's game, of course, is his shooting. But there's nothing that I've seen to make me think that he's not going to improve that. Seeing as though the Giannis that we're seeing now compared to the Giannis that we saw his rookie year is completely different. So, I think we all got to agree with Giannis. You got something, Mitch?
Yeah, like with Giannis, man, I feel like also him too. Like he just has a tenacity. Like you can just you can plug him in on any team, but if you put Luca on a team, it's like he gets the ball. Like that's why his stats are gonna be so crazy, just the way the game is played. Like you shoot 100 threes, like he's gonna get 10 rebounds. Like he's gonna get 10 assists because he has the ball every play. Like he's gonna score because he shoots. So like that's what I look at.
Yeah, and I know Giannis is also going to play hard.
True. Yeah, and Giannis is going to give you more than just offense, clearly.
Yeah.
And Luca still does not. So the next one it's crazy how a year changes a lot of things. So the next one we have is Zion Williamson or Ben Simmons. Both number 1 overall picks, both currently not playing. Both for clearly different reasons. But I'm gonna start with you, Mike. What do you, who out of Zion or Ben Simmons, who would you choose?
You see my reaction, dog.
Yes.
I can't even use leadership on this one. I can't even use that. It's tough, man. First, I want to say I'm a Duke fan, and I wasn't in love with Zion like the media was. I wasn't, I mean, he's undersized. His body, and we're seeing it now, his body.
Yeah.
He's overweight and stuff like that. And then, you look at Ben Simmons. I don't know what I'm gonna get from him mentally. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a literally oh my God, he can't.
By the way, why hasn't Ben Simmons played yet? Like
that I want to see before you keep going, Mike. I wanted to say that. I wanted to say, bro, yo, the reason why we were told that Ben Simmons is not playing is because of mental reasons. And he's been like mental reasons with Philly. They said he needed a new landing spot. He needed a new environment, which he has, and he's still not playing. To me, that's the biggest. I was one of those. Oh, Brooklyn clearly won the trade. I mean, you get Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, you get Andre Drummond. Yeah, but now I'm looking like, hold on, bro. Where the hell is the marquee piece of this trade? Why is he still blinged up on the sideline? I know why Kevin Durant's not playing. I don't know why Ben Simmons is not playing, but
they said lower back soreness, but I'm calling BS on that.
So what do you sore from? He ain't done nothing. Yeah. So it's just like he's been sitting down. I guess you understand it. What did Russell say the other day? I'm not used to sitting down so long, so my back hurts. But I don't think you gave your answer, Mike.
I didn't, because I don't know if I can. I don't. It's too hard, bro. You got one guy that's not playing. I mean, I don't want to, scoff at mental health or nothing like that, because that's serious. You know what I'm saying? But is he mentally tough, though? That's something you can question, and you can say no to that. But then I got another guy who can't stay in shape. So what's worse to y'all? Seriously, I just before I say a person, what's worse to y'all? Somebody that's not mentally tough or somebody that can't stay in shape? Because if you can't stay in shape, you'll never be available. But if you're not mentally tough, in certain situations, you're going to crumble, and we saw that already. So I don't know which one is worse.
What you think?
In this situation, I feel like it's picking your poison and which one.
That's exactly what it is.
It's not going to kill me as fast, like. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to go with Ben, man. The reason why, listen though, the reason why is because Ben's always gonna be able to pass. Like that's gonna always, like, now Zion, I don't know if he's ever, him being in shape or his if you got foot injuries, man, at this age, this early, that's not good, man. Like he's been in the league for 3 years and he's played how many games?
Yo, I think I saw a stat today that he has had 5 lower body surgery since coming in the league.
That's insane, man. That is so like, that's why I gotta go with Ben now. Listen, with Ben, man, I don't understand. This is why I don't understand, like, with like today's NBA, man, it just seems like people find any reason to sit out. Like with Ben, man, it just like, you look at Harden's playing, Steph's played, you got the other players from the trade that played, Drummond's played. So like, come on, man, get out there for 15, 18 minutes. Like,
if they want to say he's not in basketball shape, well, have him play 15, 20 minutes a game. Have him play 8 minutes the first time and then keep revving it up. Like, how not to get in basketball shape? Not to play. So, but I agree with your question, I guess, Mike, as far as
I'm still going with Ben though, because like Mitch said, he can pass, and I also know he's an elite defender.
Yeah. It's and I agree with both of you. Say it's pick your poison. it's hard for me to wrap my arms around somebody that has clearly shown that he's yo. How do I say this without being so insensitive? And I'm a big dude, bro, but I'm not getting paid millions of dollars to be in shape. Yo, Zion, and the thing is, Zion got bigger. I understand New Orleans got some good food, but Zion got bigger since coming to the league, bro. Yeah. And at least I've seen Ben Simmons. I mean, he was the runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year last year. He can still pass, and maybe that mental health thing can change, seeing as though he's not the number 1 or 2 option now with KD and Kyrie. And of course, see what happens moving forward if you pair him alongside like a bona fide scorer and you don't make him a point guard, because that's if you're no. I'm gonna go with Ben, which is crazy because like you're a Duke fan, like you said, Mike. You heard all we heard was Zion's the next coming, and you see him dunking on little white kids in high school, and then to get to this point where I don't even know. I'm not gonna say he's not gonna be in the league next 5 years, but I don't even know if he's gonna play enough, because he's already a freak athlete. So it's like you can't be a freak athlete and not have the body to sustain that. It's kind of like why, and this is kind of a bigger point, but it's kind of like why 5-star athletes kind of struggle with going to HBCUs. It's like it's hard to, a lot of HBCUs don't have the resources to hold a 5-star athlete. You can't have all that athleticism, all that explosion, and be 325. Like, I can be 325 because I'm not jumping out the gym, but you can't. So I'm gonna go with Ben.
You know what's crazy though? Like I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Like, Zion averaged 27 points on over 60% shooting last year. Like, that is insane. Like, and how tall is he? Like 6'7"?
6'7".
Six and a half.
Pretty much the same height as Draymond.
But like, that's the problem. Like, I don't know when he's gonna play.
That's true. The next one is kind of the contrast of 2 players, but it's pretty much pick your point. Well, pick what you agree with or what you want. And that is Anthony Edwards and Cade Cunningham. Now, one of them is a lot more athletic, i.e. Anthony Edwards. One of them, maybe because he's playing for an organization where he has to, but he kind of does a little bit more. So I'll ask you, Mike, who would you choose between Anthony Edwards and Cade Cunningham?
Yeah, I think this one is more personal preference than anything, because I think they'll both be really good. But I'm gonna go with Anthony Edwards. Yeah, he's super athletic, but he can also, shoot off the dribble, and he can shoot threes and stuff like that. He's pretty exceptional. I know, Jay, you thought he should have won Rookie of the Year last year. I was thinking it should have been co-Rookie of the Year. But whatever, because one dominated early in the season, one dominated on the later end. Yeah. But whatever, man. But I think I like Cade, but I just gotta go with Ant-Man. I just prefer, I don't know, I just prefer his game more. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm gonna go with Anthony Edwards.
What you mentioned?
Yeah, I agree, man. I gotta go with Mike on that. I gotta go with Ant. You know what? Like with Cade, first of all, Detroit is awful, and like he's averaging 16 points on the guy off. Like, that team is awful, man. Like, I couldn't watch that team for more than 2 minutes. Like, but they are force feeding him for a reason. Like, they spent, they got the pick on him. Like, they want to see what he can do. So I don't blame him. But you look at Ant, man, he's averaging over 20 points on a team that has, one of the best power forwards in the league, and D'Lo. So like, he's sharing the touches with people that's been there, and he's still coming out with 20 points. So, I got to go with Ant on that.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. And what you said, Mitch, definitely resonates with me. You're playing on a bad team and putting up pedestrian numbers. And your next best player, well, you're the second best player, because I think Jeremy Grant's probably their best player, but they need more from you. And to me, and he even had this in college. What was it, Oklahoma State? He has this nonchalant attitude, in my opinion.
He's not too cool for school.
And it's just like, bro, hold on. Like, you kind of saw it with the All-Star game. Now I know it's the All-Star weekend. I know it's All-Star, but it's just like, I just need more. Like, I just want you to know. I want to know that you care, and it doesn't seem that way. So the next one I have was a lot harder than I thought when I initially set this up. And I'm gonna start with you, Mitch. The next one I have is LaMelo Ball or SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Who would you take in the next 5 years?
So shout out to Melo, man. He's from Charlotte, so I'm at from the crib. Well, he at the crib right now. So I'm gonna take Melo, man. He has more impact on winning. Like he completely changed. I can speak for just witnessing. Like he completely changed the culture here in Charlotte, man. Like you could just tell it's a different energy. Like you can just tell. Even something different from what Kemba had when he was here. With SGA, man, he's really good, but again, it's like it's not one of those players that's putting up 20 points on horrible teams. Like Thunder are horrible, man. Like so, I mean, he's good, but he's not really impacting winning. So, Melo, and he's gonna sell tickets. So if you want somebody that's gonna carry a franchise, man, you got to sell tickets.
Gotcha. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, it's another bias thing, but I love me some LaMelo, man. He's also 3 years younger than Shai. So he's only 20 years old, bro. Look what he's doing. So just like 5 years, 25. Is that even his prime yet? You know what I'm saying? So look at what we're getting now. I like Shai, but like Mitch said, he's putting up, and I don't want to do he's putting up numbers, but he's on the Thunder, and he kind of has to, man. It's a real bad team, I don't know when the Thunder are going to be good again, to be totally honest with you. And I also like what Mitch said too, man. LaMelo, he sells tickets too. You already know he was already more famous than some NBA All-Stars before he even came. Like he's more famous than like a Kyle Lowry or something. Like he just has that buzz. You know what I'm saying? He got that. He just has that aura. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like he's exciting. You know what I'm saying? And Shai's good. He's nice, but LaMelo, it's just a different energy, like Mitch said. So I gotta go with LaMelo, and like I said, he's only 20 years old, so sky's really the limit.
I think damn, y'all changed my mind.
This is really not that hard, man. Like,
I'm gonna tell you why I made it hard, and I'm gonna tell you why I originally were gonna choose Shai. Because I feel, first and foremost, I feel you get more from Shai as far as maybe a little defense. You get, I think he's a little more athletic than LaMelo. But one thing I did not factor in was how different Charlotte looks with LaMelo off the floor than when they do with him on. Now, yes, Oklahoma City is a terrible team. But to me, you still have, which I don't know how the hell he improved so much. We still have Lou Dort. You still have, Baisley or whatever his name is.
Shout out Josh Giddey too.
Josh Giddey. And I don't think Shai makes them better. I think they're a good player. I just don't think they make them better. To me, LaMelo Ball, if you want to see the effect LaMelo Ball has, just look at Miles Bridges. Just look at what Plumlee still has a job, and this man's shooting the worst field goal percentage, even worse than Shaq did. Or not field goal, free throw. I'm gonna go with LaMelo. Now I think about it, it's not that hard. I think I was just thinking a little too much. But shout out to Shai. Shai is a good player, and Shai, he's a lot better than I thought he would be when I saw him play in Kentucky. Like I thought he was gonna be good. I just didn't think he was gonna be this good. Like, I think an argument can be had. Is he better than maybe, I don't know, De'Aaron Fox or whatever, or in the next 5 years? But I will say LaMelo Ball. So you guys have definitely changed my mind because I would
definitely say though, SGA, like he won the drip award. Like he can dress. I give him that. If you want to go at outfits, man, I got SGA all day.
Logan LaMelo, when that man had the lime green jump with the car. So all right,
I don't like LaMelo's style.
Hey, he has that. I ain't worn nothing but BBB my whole life, so now it's time to it's time to branch out. Um, this one, the next one we're gonna do, is really a preference of what you want. These are two completely different players, but both have a huge impact on each other's teams. And that is Evan Mobley or Tyrese Halliburton. I'm gonna start this one. Uh, when I look at Evan Mobley, it's kind of hard not to see an old Chris Bosh. From his dribble ability to his defense to his shooting. Well, of course, to me, he can't shoot better than Raptors Chris Bosh, but Evan Mobley has grown a lot more than I expect him to, especially in his rookie year. To me, he was good in USC, but he wasn't this good. And I don't know if it's because he's playing alongside Darius Garland, or Jared Allen, but Tyrese Halliburton cold too, and I didn't expect him to be this good when he was playing in college. But I'm gonna go with Evan Mobley. I just feel like he can do more and he can impact the game more than Tyrese Halliburton. I think Tyrese can. You look up and he had, oh shit, is that 40-point game? But Evan Mobley can have a 20 with 4 or 5 blocks. I'm like, damn, like he's more than likely gonna win Rookie of the Year. So I'm gonna go with Evan Mobley on this one. What say you, Mitch?
Man, this is tough, man. It's probably one of the toughest ones just because of the opposite styles that they have. But you if you're looking at upside, like you gotta go with Mobley, man. He's 7 feet. You know, he's 200 soaking wet, but he's 7 feet. Like he's just learning how to play, really. Like he's on a good team too. Halliburton reminds me of Jalen Brunson. Like really serviceable, can pass, you know, like does everything that a coach, like a coach's pet, right? Like he does everything right, but the ceiling isn't there. So I gotta go with Mobley, man. Like he's gonna be a beast if he keeps that that motor going. He'll be a beast.
Let you, Mike.
Yeah, this one is tough. I'm not gonna lie, this is probably one of the harder ones for real. I kind of just want to go with the opposite for real, and there's no knock on Evan Mobley because I think like he's super nice, like he's nice, but in a guard-driven league, I think I want to have a guard. And Tyrese Halliburton, I mean, I like them on the Kings, but I mean, let's just face it, the Kings are a poverty franchise. They suck. You know what I'm saying? They're horrible. So, I know he's kind of like bursting on the scene to like I guess more of a casual NBA fan because he was on the Kings, and I mean he's still on the Pacers. Like the Pacers aren't even good. So, but I mean he's a big guard. You know, he's about 6'5". He can pass, he can score, he can rebound. He does a lot of different things. And yeah, I'm just gonna go with him. I'm also trying to be a little different than y'all, but I mean, I like Evan Mobley though. He's Evan Mobley's super nice. I totally agree with what Jay said. You know about the Chris Bosh comparisons. Like he's like super nice, but I mean he also plays on a team with they had 2 All Stars this year too. Mm-hmm. So I mean, but I think Evan Mobley's still gonna be nice. So don't get me wrong.
I have that was one of the tougher ones for me due to the fact that they're so different, and also Tyrese Halliburton, again, the Kings sucked, and the Kings sucked when he was there. But one thing that was prevalent is how important he was to that Kings team, and how even with a De'Aaron Fox, even with a Harrison Barnes, Tyrese Halliburton was emerging as their best player. And
you think so?
I think so. I think even though, of course, we can say De'Aaron Fox.
I obviously agree with you, though.
We can say De'Aaron Fox, but the thing is, my biggest gripe with De'Aaron Fox, bro, is he looks, in my opinion, he looks like the same exact player he did when he came into the league. Like now, I don't know about player development in Sacramento clearly, but it just looks like he to me he hasn't really improved. I know like he's a big, anytime trades and stuff comes around, his name's always up there, but I just don't see improvement from De'Aaron Fox looks like the same De'Aaron Fox that was putting up 50 in high school. It's just like, okay, like like his even if you look at his numbers, I think his scoring has improved a little bit, but the percentages and everything is like pretty much the same as every year. And I think Tyrese Halliburton, I mean, hell, you saw the whole organization from the fans and everything went crazy when they realized he was traded. Um, so I do believe that he was emerging as their most important player. But yeah, I'll choose Evan Mobley.
I think the Kings would have chose Halliburton too if but they couldn't move his contract. They couldn't move De'Aaron Fox's contract. They got stuck. So like, I think that's the reason. If they made the same thing, like they would take the Halliburton 1,000%.
Hell, there's a reason why. Again, and I just said there's a reason why every time trade deadline comes around, every time you hear it with the Lakers or something, De'Aaron Fox's name always comes up, and because it's like what the Kings really wanted to do, as we know, was get off Marvin Bagley. That just wasn't working. But they knew that was nobody taking Marvin Bagley because everyone knows his family made it known he don't want to be there. So it's like you got to throw in something, and I guess Tyrese was the fall. So the last one I'm gonna do, and to me this is a lot easier than I thought it would be, for me at least. And I'll start off, and that is Joel Embiid or Nikola Jokic. To me, both front runner MVPs at this point. I wouldn't be mad if you said Joel Embiid was a front runner. I'll say Nikola Jokic. I'm going with Jokic in the next 5 years. I see the imprint and the impact that Jokic has on the game outside of scoring. Now, that's no disrespect to Joel Embiid because he's the most dominant big man in the league right now, and it's not even close. And now being alongside James Harden kind of just unlocks something in him that he hasn't had, seeing as floor spacing and everything. But when I look at Nikola Jokic and I see what he's played with this entire year or lack of, he's missing his number one offensive guy in Jamal Murray. He's missing pretty much number two offensive guy in Michael Porter Jr. And he's still putting up better numbers than he did last year, which was his MVP year. And again, to me, I get a lot of flack for this, but to me, I think he's arguably the most skilled big the league has ever seen. And that's even, Hakeem Olajuwon, everything. I just think the imprint and the impact that he has in this game, we have not seen damn near ever, from his guard ability to his scoring ability to his defense. So I'm going to go with Nikola Jokic, even though I love and Joel Embiid's injury history kind of scares me as well. The fact that he's already had a couple of lower leg injuries or lower extremity injuries kind of scares me, especially with how big he is. So I am going to go with Nikola Jokic. What say you, Mike?
Yeah, I'm gonna also agree with you. Yeah, we're looking at what Jokic is doing, and like he got different dudes around him. You know what I'm saying? So like you don't really got another top level guy around him. And like you said, his numbers are better than last year, which was his MVP year. Also, I don't really want to echo the same exact things, but I mean I kind of have to. But he's also more durable. They're both the same age, but when we look at Joel Embiid, he came into the league hurt.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It was a while before
That's why he wasn't number one.
Yeah, it was a while before he got onto the court.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at the most games he's ever played. The most games he's ever played was 64. Now this year I think he'll surpass that. But his durability is a major concern for me over the next 5 years because I mean, as you get older, you heal a lot slower.
Mm-hmm.
And Jokic has been truly durable, and I think he has more of an impact on the game. I mean, I know what Joel Embiid is doing is amazing. He's been super duper dominant, but Jokic can do so many different things, and I like the way he's able to control pace and stuff like that. So I'm going to go with Jokic, but no knock on Joel Embiid. He's a great player, but I mean, over the next 5 years, that's what we're talking about. That's what we're discussing. I want the more durable player, and I think they're both on the same level now. So just go in and give me the more durable guy.
What you, Mitch?
Yeah, I gotta agree, but I'm gonna go with Embiid. I'm gonna play devil's advocate because first of all, I think Embiid is an MVP this year. Just given the situation, like I think Jokic is a very skilled, and I look. You can argue Embiid is is more skilled than Jokic. Maybe Jokic is a better passer, but I seen Embiid do some things that like somebody his size are not supposed to do, like being able to handle step back threes, the whole thing. And defensively, man, he's way better defensively, like Embiid is. So his dominance, man, and it just depends too how long he's gonna play with Harden.
Mm.
I don't know what Jokic team is gonna look like in 5 years or in 2 or 3 years even. But if the Sixers can pull this or keep this thing together with Harden, man, he's gonna be getting lobs. He's gonna be getting fed the ball like way easier than he's ever gotten. So I'm gonna go with Embiid because I just don't know what Jokic is. He's gonna put the numbers. He's gonna get the assists. Like he's gonna get numbers.
Mm.
It's 2022. Like the pace is crazy. He's gonna get numbers, but just dominance. I got to roll with Embiid.
Okay. Well, I have a topic. I didn't brief you guys. I didn't send this to you, but I have a topic. Recently, there's a report come out. I don't know if it's true or not, but a report has come out saying that the Lakers and Russell Westbrook have mutual interest in parting ways this offseason. I can already tell as a Lakers fan, like that. I mean, that's probably music to you guys' ears. But one thing that I do want to ask you guys is, how do you gauge success? And I ask that because looking at what Russell Westbrook's career has been after, KD and after James Harden, would you say from the talent that he has, would you say that he had a successful career? If the last time that we saw him being, the triple-double king, and last time we saw his pretty much peak, to me, his peak is over with. Not saying he's a bad player, but where we have not seen the best. I mean, we've seen the best Russell Westbrook already. Would you say that he's had a successful career if he goes down? Of course, he's going to be a Hall of Famer and everything, but if he goes down as just being known as the triple-double king, would you say that he still had a successful career? And I know this is a long-ass question, but I only ask that because, and of course he's not on the same level, but when we talk about LeBron, they always are saying, oh, well, the Lakers are whatever games below 500. Is this gonna dent his legacy? Or KD, going to Golden State dented his legacy? Or James Harden now being on his third team in two seasons is his legacy? You don't really ever hear that about Russell Westbrook. And is that because his legacy is all he does is, stat pad, but he's not that good of a player, or what? So I ask you guys, whoever wants to take the floor can. Do you think that when it's all said and done, we're going to look at Russell Westbrook and think that was a successful career?
I want to hear Mike's answer on this since we're both Laker fans. I want to hear his answer.
Yeah. So I think, first of all, it's kind of a personal question. It's all about how you view success, and how Russell Westbrook probably views that, he had a successful career. He probably views, look at his life, look at his upbringing, where the environment he grew up in, and to become what he became. I really think it's about. For you guys. I really think it's what do you value? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you view championships as successful? Do you view numbers as successful? Like, I mean, he's had a great career. The triple doubles. I mean, it's kind of hard to go back and forth with the stat padding thing, but let's put this into perspective. There's a whole YouTube video on people saying that triple double record would never be touched. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? There's literally it's like LeBron on there, Magic Johnson, Gary Payton. They're all saying like, oh, it's never going to be broken.
Yeah.
But yet it was broken. Yeah, we saw history being made. You know, I mean, when you look at him now, obviously, you know, all right, 4 teams on 4 year in 4 years, you know, he's the problem. But I mean, I think he had a spectacular career. You know, and it probably won't pan out the way he wants, you know, getting a championship and stuff like that, unless he agrees to accept a lesser role. And I think we all disagree that he probably won't do that because of, you know, his ego and personality. But I mean, I would say he had a successful career. I mean, if you're just going based off the stats, you know, he won a league MVP. I mean, he did play in the finals. You know, that was 10 years ago, but he did play in the finals. He did play in some big games and stuff like that. But I mean, if you view championships as, you know, successful, okay, cool. But I mean, we had a lot of great players that didn't win championships. You know, the Charles Barkleys, the John Stocktons, the Karl Malones. Jalen, your favorite player, Allen Iverson, never won a championship. So, and we, you know, he's an icon. You know what I'm saying? So, it just depends on how you look at it. I mean, I would still say he had a pretty successful career. Obviously, a championship is what you play for, but that doesn't necessarily equal success. You know what I'm saying? We're in a league with some great players. Everybody can't win a championship. Look at those guys in the 90s. They were going up against Michael Jordan. Like, it's just not in the cards. You know, it can't be in the cards for everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's impossible. You know what I'm saying? So I would say he had a successful career just because we've seen so many great players play in the league and not win a championship. And I named a good amount of players, you know, some great players, iconic players that never won rings. So I would say he had a successful career. It may not go the way he wanted it to go, but I think his career was still successful.
And before you answer, Mitch, I guess kind of push back, not saying that you're wrong, because you know you threw out a couple people's names, and of course, to me, it's like you said, it's hard to gauge someone's success on championship. Because if that's the case, then Charles Barkley would not be a Hall of Famer. Nobody would give two craps about Allen Iverson, you know. But I think that there are players that their legacy, like Allen Iverson's legacy is not, no, he never won a championship. No, he changed the way that we saw basketball as far as fashion, as far as, you know, pop culture, as far as everything. He's a you know, trailblazer and stuff for that. The only reason why I asked this is because you talked about Charles Barkley, you talked about Allen Iverson, you talked about, you know, T-Mac and everything. One thing that now, of course, I wasn't there when Charles Barkley was doing his thing. But one thing that I don't think happened with Charles Barkley that I'm seeing with Russell Westbrook is the amount of criticism that he's received since KD left. It's starting to go around that you can't win with Russell Westbrook on your team. Now I know towards the latter half, because I have a whole Allen Iverson tattoo, but I'm honest with it. At the latter half of Allen Iverson's career was like, well, he can't really, you know, if he's on your team, you're not winning. However, he already had that cultural background. Like, wait, that's Allen Iverson though. Like, he took a team that had freaking old washed up to give him a tumble to the finals. And the biggest reason and the biggest pushback that I have is now when you hear Russell Westbrook's name, you don't think, oh shit, it's Russell Westbrook. You're not winning no championship with that. And I think that's the difference. That's why I asked that question. Yeah. Because I'm
gonna let you finish, but I definitely wanted to add something too.
Because the play style that you're seeing and the reputation that you're starting to get now, of course, the upbringing and of course coming from nothing to, you know, that of course always, if you make it to the league, you're successful. Like that's just how it is. Yeah. But I'm just saying, Russell Westbrook, his name is starting to be synonymous with a player you can't win with. And that is why I asked, do you think that, hell, Russell Westbrook is from California. So you would think, oh, we got Russell Westbrook, California kid, grew up apparently liking the Clippers and the Lakers. You would think, all right, boom, Russell Westbrook. But no, they're mutually agreeing to go different. This would be like, it didn't work in OKC after Kevin Durant. Now, of course, how is it going to work after Kevin Durant? That's Kevin Durant. Then it didn't work with James Harden.
This is where I want to jump in. So I understand exactly where you're coming from about the Allen Iverson cultural thing. I understand that. But when we talk about post Kevin Durant, and granted, he ran KD out of town,
Mm-hmm.
but did we really believe that he was going to win a championship with the Rockets and that's Mike D'Antoni style? Seriously, no.
I don't think, and I promise you, I'm gonna get to you, Mitch. I don't think we're asking and we're wondering if he's gonna win a championship. I think that, of course, you have LeBron James in the freaking league. You have Steph Curry in the league.
Yeah.
It's like, of course, Giannis now. I don't think anyone expects him to win a championship. And I don't think that's what we're going to gauge success. What I think is, could we win with that person? Maybe not win a championship, but could we build a team around that person, a successful team? And of course, some people might gauge success as championship, but when you have some killers in the league like you have, I don't expect, it's hard for me to see some of the young players ever win a championship when you have, Giannis in the league, KD, Steph. But John Wall played damn near the same way Russell Westbrook did, but we never had you can't win with John Wall. It's like, I don't gauge Russell Westbrook as, all right, well, you couldn't win a championship with him. I mean, hell, Damian Lillard might go down as a top 10 point guard of all time. He more than likely ain't never winning the championship. No. But we look at Russell Westbrook and Damian Lillard differently. We don't think, all right, well, you can't win with Dame. Hell, we're trying to free Dame. When you look at Westbrook, like, God damn, we got Westbrook. Hell, the Lakers are going to have the toughest time in NBA history trying to get off that contract, especially after Russell Westbrook is more than likely he's going to accept the player option. So when I say success, I'm not gauging championship. I'm gauging Russell Westbrook is now looked at a player that you cannot win with. And when I say win, he doesn't. He also looks like he has the stigma that he's a player that is not going to advance the franchise. And when I say advance, I'm not saying championship. I'm saying people do not want him on the team.
Yeah.
So, Mitch, do you think?
Hold on. I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying. That probably will be what his legacy is. All I was asking was, when he was on the Rockets, did we really think that they were going to win a championship? And I'm not even going to ask you, when he went to the Wizards, did we think they were going to win a championship or be overly successful? Because the answer is already no. It's an obvious question. So this year is the only chance this year is like probably one of the only years from a while ago where you could say, okay, there were championship expectations, because we didn't have those expectations when he was on the Wizards or the Rockets with James Harden with that style of play when they had PJ Tucker at center. So
this is where I got pushed. Go ahead.
No, but I was saying I agree that his legacy probably is gonna be, you can't win with this player. But I'm just saying, like, up until this year and when he had KD, did we really believe that, like, there were championship expectations with the team he was on?
I don't. And I promise you, this is the last thing I'm gonna say, Mitch, before I go to you. I don't think that the expectation was win a championship, but I do think the expectation was it would be a better fit than a 1-year stay for Houston, than a 1-year stay with.
I agree. I said he was on 4 teams in 4 years.
And I think that a lot of the reason for that is him. So
at some point, when you're on 4 teams in 4 years, you're the problem. Like, that's it.
So how you feel, man?
Yeah, so like I think with Jalen's I got to side with Jalen on this, because it's not about winning a championship. It's about getting the most out of that situation. So, like, if you look at Chris Paul, remember Chris Paul went to OKC? They thought they were going to be a lottery team. Like, there's no way.
They thought he was going to demand a buyout. Remember that?
Yeah, demand a buyout, all this other stuff. And here comes Chris Paul averaging 17 points, 9 assists, and then taking the Rockets, those same Rockets, to Game 7. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no way. I don't care what system. There's no way they should have went to Game 7 with that Rockets team.
They had a chance to win.
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, when you look at those things, and then you look at him at Washington, I mean, they weren't going to win a title, but they could have been more competitive in the first round. So I think Westbrook, man, to answer your question, man, like, yeah, he's successful, especially when you talk about coming from where he came from. Like, he's successful. You know, he can feed his family. He has a his sponsorships and things like that. He gives back to the community, things like that, man. So he can really go home and really, sleep well. But inside the lines, though, man, I think that he's going to be remembered as, and this is the curse of playing in this NBA is social media. Like, I feel like if social media was around when AI was playing, and he didn't get it done, and then the next year he didn't get it done, and then he got traded to Denver. Like, they would have been in him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they would have been on Stockton's case for losing 2 straight years. You know what I'm saying? So I do think Westbrook is cursed and living in social media now. I think they're giving him way too much blame, man. He's not playing great, but he's not like me personally, I think Anthony Davis is like the reason why. Like, I put a lot of blame on Anthony Davis, but Westbrook, man, he is who he is, man. And by the way, Jalen, I think it's gonna be easier than you think getting rid of that contract, because guess what? Guess what? He has how much is he? How much is it a year? Is it 40?
I think it's like 44, 45 or something.
And he has a year left, right?
Yeah.
So a bad team can trade for that, and guess what? 45, 44 is coming off the books, and they can get whoever they want in a year. So, like, I think Westbrook is successful, man. It just depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, I just think, and I didn't really factor that in, Mitch. That was good about social media. I think maybe if Charles Barkley was in the social media era, Allen Iverson, Tracy McGrady, they may be viewed differently.
Even Jordan. Think about Jordan his first few years. Like,
he didn't win. He only won. In fact, I think his first 9 years or so, he didn't. Yeah. He won one playoff game, not a series, a game, until Pippen came. So that makes sense. What frustrates me, and I'm not gonna say frustrates me because I don't care. What I worry about is when we look at Russell Westbrook, there's reasons why we love Charles Barkley. There's reasons that on the court. There's reasons why we love Allen Iverson. The reason why we love T-Mac, one of the most killers, even though they didn't win championship. And one of those reasons is, well, I just don't want Russell Westbrook's legacy to start being hell of a talent, but he was a team killer. He was a black hole when he gets the ball. That's something that, Allen Iverson probably had in like the Detroit days. But outside of that, he didn't really have that. Tracy McGrady didn't have that because he didn't play with nobody except Anthony Parker. Like, it's I don't know, man.
Do y'all feel like the triple double is overrated now, like because Russ did it, or do you just feel like it's just overrated in general? How y'all feel about the triple doubles?
As now, I'm not Russell Westbrook, nor do I play in the NBA, but as a person that played basketball, and you play basketball as well, Mitch, you know how hard it is to get a goddamn triple double. That's like, but I will say this: once you do it, which is unfair, but once you start doing it as regularly as people are doing it this league, like Jokic and like Nikola, what's his name, Luca Doncic, we talked about, Russell Westbrook. Once they're freak athletes, you know what I mean? Like, only them can do what they're doing. That's when you have to start. All right, so what is those triple doubles amounting to? Like, are they amounting to wins? Are they amounting?
My dad always said those triple doubles are meaningless.
Because it's like you can have James Harden was putting up 50-point triple doubles. However, the Rockets were winning because of, it was a balanced team until they got to Golden State in the playoffs and Chris Paul's hamstring. But Russell Westbrook was I remember the play they play on YouTube all the time against the Nuggets when he was wearing the orange OKC jersey. And it was like, you made history. Oh, I'm like, bro, that year, I think they only won one game in the playoffs. So it's like, I don't think it's overrated, but I do think that there has to be something to it. Like, okay, are you winning? Like, what's happening? Are you the fit? Like, it's Do you know how easy? I'm not gonna say easy. Russell Westbrook was putting up triple doubles with the Wizards, and we made we squeaked by the play-in and I went to these games. We got destroyed by Philly. So in the playoffs. So I mean, them triple doubles did what? Got them to the Lakers. So they're cool, but it's just like, I mean,
I think it is overrated, man. Like, it is a good accomplishment. I'm not saying it's easy to do, but if you look at the pace of play now, like, teams are shooting 20 more threes than they did like 25 years ago. So those are longer rebounds. Who's getting longer rebounds? Guards. Like, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So and now it's so much. It's
cool.
Is it what?
What'd you say?
Which leads to easier transition points. So let's say Russ getting the rebound, he throwing that joint down court a dunk. You know what I'm saying?
And this is another thing too. Like, it's such a high pick and roll heavy offense. Like, everybody runs high pick and roll offense. So you got shooters in the corner. You got a diver. So you're gonna fall into 6 assists.
Exactly.
All every play. Like, You know what I'm saying? So it ain't easy, but I think it's easier than it was like 20 years ago.
Again, I want to thank my man Mitch. I want to thank Mike Curry, the host of the Curry and the Pop podcast. Mitch, he's the owner of Blck Heavn hats. Again, I will leave all the descriptions below. I appreciate them for coming on. And that's been today's episode of the Unpopular Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you want a Popular Podcast shirt, hoodie, long sleeve sweater, joggers, the link in the description below. I have multiple different colors, multiple different designs. I mean, if you watch the visuals, you see I have a different color or different design shirt or sweater or hoodie every episode. So go get your Unpopular Podcast merch today. Also, please subscribe to whoever you're listening. Please subscribe to whoever you're watching. It definitely means a lot to me. Go follow all of Mike's socials. Go follow all of Mitch's socials. Go follow the Curry and the Pot socials. And definitely support them. And until next time, much love.